Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sublime Soiree. We are so excited to share with you today a conversation with a dear friend of ours, Jennifer Tinkham. And Jennifer, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk with you both.
Great. Well, Jennifer has a lovely gift for hospitality, and it's a gift that she has employed in kind of a big way in her own home. And we're really anxious to tell you all about it so that perhaps you can be inspired, again, not to do things exactly the way Jennifer does, but to just be inspired to let God lead you in how you might want to open up your life and live invitationally so that other people can know the beautiful, wonderful love of Jesus Christ. So Jennifer, just to get started, I attended a retreat. You attended the same one back in February. And when we attended that, you had a little breakout session where you shared about this wonderful ministry, very organic ministry that you began with your husband in your home. And it was a Sunday evening gathering. And so I was wondering, can you just tell us a little bit about what led you to start that?
Yeah, post-pandemic, I was realizing I was feeling very lonely. I'm a very social person. I love being relationally connected to people. And I realized not only had I fallen out a lot of my routines from the pandemic, but that just over the course of having young children and kids getting a little bit older, my husband and I over the years had also fallen out of routines of having like ongoing friendships that we were spending time with friends. And I remember looking at my husband and saying, well, first of all, our kids are ages 11 through 17. We have 4 children. So they're all still in the home, but we know, within the next 10 years or so, we could be empty nesters. I remember looking at my husband and saying, I feel like when we're empty nesters, you and I are going to be okay. Like our marriage is in a good place. I don't have concerns about that. I do feel like if we don't change things, we might not have any friends when our kids move out. And not only do I want to have friends now, I want to be building into people so we have those deep friendships down the road. So we're not stuck looking back, wishing we had done things differently. So I was kind of overwhelmed by like, how do we even make time to see people? What could that look like? And my husband just said, well, what if we invite people over every Sunday evening? My jaw about dropped to the floor. I'm like, really? You'd be okay with that? Because traditionally, like Monday through Saturday was very busy with us, and Sunday was like a down day. He would enjoy football in the living room. It would just be a very quiet day, like saved for us. So he's like, no, let's do it. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Like, let's do it. This is gonna be great. So that was the motivation for us starting that.
I love that her husband was the one who started it.
Way to go. I love it.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Russ. Yeah, yes. He had the vision.
Oh, wow, that's great. So how did you determine, Jen, who you would invite?
Yeah, well, it was super organic. You used that word earlier, and it was super organic. We have a few close friends that have kids of similar ages and that we would see at church, and we would sometimes do things with, but not regularly. So like we knew that those were people we wanted to see more often, but we knew that we also wanted just to extend it more. So kind of where it first some of the first places it started was our Sunday morning class at church. Whoever we were sitting around a circle with, I would just say, hey, I have something in the crock pot. Are you guys free? Would you like to come over at 5? Or I would meet somebody at church. Maybe I'd said hi a couple times. Maybe they are brand new. I got the sense they weren't plugged in or they seemed nice. And I would just weirdly say hi. After we talked for a few minutes, I'd say, my husband and I are having people over this evening at 5. Would you be interested in coming? And I grab a scrap of paper off of the back pew, and I would give them my name and my phone number. I'm like, text me if you're interested. And sometimes they would. So that was the start of it. A few close friends we wanted to spend time with, people we already knew but maybe weren't interacting with, and then just brand new people who I thought maybe didn't have any connections.
I love that. That's so good. Good mixed group. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you give us a lay of the land? What does a
Sure.
typical Sunday evening gathering look like?
Yeah. Yeah. Usually I make a big pot or dish of something that is like a main dish type of thing, like protein based of some point of some kind. Last night, I put a couple like a big pork roast in my crock pot and then I just shredded it up. So that was my main dish I had last night. And I typically roast potatoes because most people can eat potatoes. It's inexpensive, it's pretty easy, people like it. So I usually have, or it might be a one pot something that I make a lot of. So something like that, I provide that, and then I just ask everybody to bring something. And sometimes there's some communication with whoever's coming. I'm bringing this, I'm bringing that. People see there's a gap. Oh, I can bring a dessert. Or sometimes I have no idea what people are bringing. And I just I hope it works out. It used to make me nervous at the beginning, but I just kind of, let it be. So that's kind of how that works. Everybody brings food. So food-wise, that's how it works. I forget what your specific question was, though.
It generally looks like the
Oh,
gathering.
yeah. So everybody, we're like, you're welcome to come anytime after 5. So not everybody shows up right at 5, but we kind of know whatever we want to do to prepare or whatever relaxing, or if there's something we want to do as a family, we know we have till 5. It gives us a little bit of a breather after church if we need to relax or we need to clean the bathroom or something just feels like it needs to be done. We know at 5, people might be showing up anytime. So our friends who've said they're coming or maybe have been invited and haven't said they're coming show up and they have food to share and everyone kind of just sets it down in the dining room and then we just gather wherever we're chatting until we feel like enough of the main people have come.
Okay.
She's usually around 6-ish or so.
Okay.
And kids are invited. If there's not youth group that night, the teens might be around too. It's a really open house kind of feeling. Kids are running around outside. They're hanging out in their own bedrooms with friends. Adults are usually around the kitchen or dining room. If it's a nice day, we might sit outside. So whatever point it feels like the right point, I'll be like, well, I guess enough people are here and we'll call for all the kids to come and we gather wherever most of the people are. We'll ask a blessing over the food and make any special announcements about the food, what it is. Children need to wash their hands. It's very big family style that we're all here and then we eat and we sit wherever there's seating. So I used to worry about that, just like I used to worry about if there would be enough food, but I don't worry about it now. The adults kind of get their pick of where they want to be. I'll tell the kids, I'll be like, does everyone want to sit outside on the table in the back? And if adults are heading out back, then the kids go somewhere else because they want their own space or we'll take the living room. Or if I don't have enough chairs, I don't know, if there's a lot of people, some people are sitting around the living room, some people are sitting around my dining room table with all the food in the middle of the table, or they're standing up in the living room just talking and eating. So it's super casual. The evening mostly involves eating and visiting, and we found that people don't get bored of that. Kids just run around and have a great time, and sometimes we've had 5 hours. There's been time people are there till maybe 10 o'clock, especially on a summer evening if we have a fire outside. Usually it's more 9:30, but it has been 10 and nobody gets tired of hanging out. We just have great conversations. So it's very simple, but it's really great because where else do you get a chance to just talk with people that much? We really love that.
That's so neat.
So Jen, is there anything else you would like to share with our audience about maybe what that Sunday night gathering would hold? I mean, you mentioned the food and great conversation.
Yeah. I've found that oftentimes it's believers who are there, but sometimes it's not. Occasionally we've had a friend coming who's a non-believer and it's been interesting to see some of my friends who are believers, their faces as they realize, like, oh, I'm in a conversation with someone who's not a believer. And then they jump on board with like, okay, how do I express myself to this person in a different way that they understand? So that's been cool that sometimes we do have non-believers join us, and just welcome them in. Like, this is how we love being together, and like, we care about you too, and we're glad you're here. Usually it's believers, and it's just really special to be able to like know each other well and like pour into each other's lives and like care about each other, and just encourage each other too. Sometimes we have really deep spiritual conversations, and sometimes it's just like funny stuff. So just our day-to-day lives. So it's really special. Just that time to be with people, I think, is what makes it really meaningful, with no agenda. Just to know each other well and pour into each other is what I love.
So you may have answered this question already, but
You might have.
what have been the greatest rewards of opening up your home like this? And on the flip side, what are some of the lessons that you've learned that you wish you might have known at the beginning?
Yeah, the rewards, definitely the connection with other people. I feel like just having more people in my life that I feel like I know them well and they know me well is just such a treasure. I love that. I feel like that's the greatest reward. I think it's also rewarding to be able to invite somebody into something, just to have a ready-made on-ramp if there's somebody new I want to connect with. That reward of like helping them feel suddenly welcome into a group that's already well connected. Like, it doesn't have to be a clique. We're not such a self-formed group that nobody can jump in. We're not even some of us are consistent, but it's a very fluid, even the invitation list is very fluid. So I feel like the benefits of having that opportunity. I think what I've learned, what has been challenging, is just for me to like hold things really loosely. Like, there have been times, especially early on, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing with this. I'm afraid I'm going to have too much food and no one's going to come, and my family's going to be eating this all week. I'm afraid there's not going to be enough food. What if people don't bring enough food of their own to share and we run out of food and there's too many people compared to the food? What if I don't have enough chairs? So it's really just stretched me to learn to like trust in the Lord and be like, God, you're doing what you want to be doing with this. And I can plan, and that may be a benefit, but ultimately, what do you want to do with this, God? And I'm just showing up here.
Yeah, that's so neat. Thanks for watching part 1 of our interview with Jennifer Tinkham. Join us tomorrow as we talk about the fact that what we have is enough when it comes to hospitality.